Hello world, my name is Matt Spa, and for me, external monitors are an absolute must for framing up shots and checking focus and properly setting exposure. I started out with the super cheap budget models, and those got me used to using a monitor on set, but not until I picked up this little secondhand Atomos Ninja 5 did good monitors become a part of my standard workflow. Once I had this little Ninja, I never went back to my budget monitors, and I probably never shot a job without using an external monitor. The Ninja is awesome. It changed the world for a lot of people, but it's not exactly small or light, and the interface takes some time to acclimate to, and if I'm honest, I rarely used it as a recorder, so it was kind of overkill. Atomos made something called a Shinobi that was basically a Ninja without the recorder, and I considered buying one several times, but it wasn't really any smaller. Lots of users complained about fan noise, which for me would be an issue if it's sitting right on my camera. And for not much money, I could have scored another secondhand Ninja, so it just never happened. However, when I saw the newly released Atomos Shinobi II, I immediately ordered it. I did no research, I did nothing, I just clicked the button and said, send it to me. It sorts out many of those shortcomings that I had with my Ninja. It adds a much brighter screen, it has better battery life, an updated interface, and for some of us, camera control. But I kind of regret not researching my purchase more. Typically, I don't do reviews of products that I don't like, and I'm kind of torn because I actually like the product, but I'm not really happy with Atomos right now. Buying new stuff is supposed to be it's supposed to be fun, and my initial experience with this monitor and wasting time with support, only to find out that certain features that were being heavily marketed did not currently exist, was very disappointing. But I'll get to that later. This monitor is 30% thinner than the previous generation and significantly lighter. Cable access is now on the back, which greatly reduces my chances of damaging the ports. The battery is in the center, which may not seem like a big deal, but for anyone who's used the Ninja like I did, if you're shooting handheld using a top handle, you know what a pain it can be to have a big old NPF 950 on your monitor that's off to the side, messing up your weight distribution. The case on the Shinobi II is ABS polycarbonate plastic, so it's really robust. There's a 1/4-20 insert on the bottom for mounting. On one side, there's an insert for a remote and a headphone jack, and on the other side, there's the power button and an SD card slot that's used for updating firmware and loading LUTs. It uses a passive heatsink, so the fan noise is no longer an issue. And an AC adapter is no longer required since the monitor can be powered via USB, but you can still use an AC adapter to power this if you want to use an external battery like I am here, or if you want to use an AC power source. I like the balance that this monitor has. It doesn't feel cheap or flimsy in any way. There are 3 things that I don't love though. The switch is still a press type, so you have to hold it for 4 seconds to shut the monitor down, and just ain't nobody got time for that. I would love to see a multi-position slide switch over there. Next, the screen is still inset like it was on the previous generation. There's like this big border around the outside that it feels like wasted space. It is a 5-inch monitor, but there's another almost 3/4 of an inch all the way around that, so it just seems like unnecessarily big. Lastly, and I'm gonna timestamp this video because I'm sure that this will not be an ongoing issue, and I want people to be able to skip this section, but Atomos includes and heavily markets this cable lock adapter, but it's not a universal lock. I have these small rig locks on my camera cage that lock any cable into place securely. The lock adapter from Atomos is really just a plate with 2 holes in it that is designed to work with proprietary Atomos cables that, at the time of making this video, do not exist. Or at least they're not on the market. I'm sure they exist somewhere. To me, Atomos is advertising a feature to sell this monitor that is not currently available. And they don't say that it will be, and they don't give you any kind of disclaimer about it. I don't know. On top of that, when the stuff does become available, the system uses a proprietary cable, and I hate proprietary cables. When something this simple and elegant is out there, why you want to do that? I want so desperately to enjoy doing business with the companies that I give my money to, and short-sighted decision making like this, or just plain bad planning maybe, is just, they make that really hard. And I'm done now, and we're gonna get on with the good stuff. One thing that always bugged me about the budget monitors that I started out with was the interface. Not only are the menu systems awkward, but they're ugly. they all look like I just booted up DOS from a 5-inch floppy. The Shinobi II interface, however, is clean, and it's really well laid out, and it packs a lot of information onto the screen, but it's easily accessible. It's just as comprehensive as the older OS, but it's a lot more intuitive, at least to me. The touchscreen seems more responsive than my Ninja, and all the tools are just one touch away, but my Ninja's pretty old, and it's been to a lot of rodeos, and it's seen a lot of mud and muck and dust and abuse, and it still works really well. So anyway, I digress. A single press will clear out all the menus and the tools, and they'll show you a clean frame, which is really nice. Oddly, and this might be just mine, comment down below if you've had the same thing, the screen only registers a touch in kind of the central area. Touching closer to the edge produces no result for me, so I'm not sure if that's just mine or I just don't know. Camera controls are easily accessible, and once I plugged my Sony camera into the USB-C port, the Shinobi II recognized it. This is a big selling point of this monitor, but the compatibility is limited. I will link to the Atomos compatibility page below for anyone who wants to just double check before they make a purchase. Currently, you can stop and start recording. You can adjust white balance, aperture, shutter speed, and ISO. And there are rumors out there, from Atomos even, that future updates may include touch focus, but currently that is not available. So if you're hoping that you're gonna get touch focus with this, ain't gonna happen, at least not for now. I have to say that this kind of limited amount of control is nice to have, but it doesn't really fit my workflow. And that may change as I use this monitor more, but typically I'm not changing color and exposure settings once I'm in a location and have a shot framed up and on screen. I have buttons on my camera that are programmed to make those changes quickly, and it's kind of like having a remote control for your car stereo. I mean, like, it's right there, you know, it's right here, so I don't know, maybe with this battery in place, it would be kind of cool to be able to do that, so I don't know. Focus tracking, however, would be a game changer, especially for sports video, so I really hope that all those rumors are true. The screen is a 5.2-inch Full HD 1920 by 1080 10-bit monitor, and it is absolutely beautiful. It can be calibrated, it supports a wide range of gamma and gamut, and supports use of user LUTs. The screen is bright, 1500 nits, which makes it practical for use outdoors in daylight. The Shinobi II has all the normal goodies that you'd expect from a field monitor these days. It can de-squeeze anamorphic footage, and all of the exposure and framing tools are easily accessible with one touch. Everything is right across the bottom of the monitor, so not having to navigate through multiple menus or scroll through a bunch of options to get to what I'm looking for is awesome. Two things that I would love to see here, and this is really more about the interface than the screen specifically, but the ability to customize the order of the tools. So like being able to move them around to put them in the order that I use them most would be really nice. And an option for EL zone monitoring. If you're not familiar with EL zone, it's basically false color, but instead of using IRE values, it shows variations in stops of light. EL zone monitoring is meant to standardize. So from one monitor to another monitor, from camera to camera, it's all consistent. The advantages over false color are significant, and it's a great tool for nailing light ratios in a scene if you're really trying to, you know, tweak it out. It's available on some Atomos monitors, but in my research, it is not available on the Shinobi II. I'm glad I bought this monitor. It's definitely a massive upgrade to the OG Shinobi and my earlier generation Ninja. The weight, the brightness, the thinness, battery life, the interface alone would be a worthy upgrade. But it's not without its disappointments. That cable lock adapter issue thing is just, it's inexcusable in my opinion, and it obviously has really soured me on this monitor, even though I still love it. Camera control is limited, but overall, as a capable, easy to use, affordable field monitor, it works really well. And if that touch control focus actually happens, that would just be absolutely huge. That's gonna do it for this one. I hope that you found something here helpful, and comment below if you have any questions about this monitor, and I thank you for watching.